It's holiday time, and that means gatherings, and you know you're gonna get asked to bring a dessert to somebody's house, and you don't wanna be that person that just brings a store-bought dessert. So I have the perfect crowd-pleasing seasonal recipe for you that is just gonna knock it out of the park, and you are gonna be asked to make it again and again. So be forewarned. Hi, I'm Jillian. Welcome to Mom Air. I am here to support you in the kitchen, whether you have kids or not. And today I'm gonna do that by showing you how to make one of my favorite seasonal recipes, pumpkin crunch cake. It is multiple layers of pumpkin cake, and then in between you have a delicious crunch topping made with walnuts and vanilla wafers and a cream cheese frosting that's super easy to make and delicious. Don't worry about the frosting and your abilities to make that look perfect. This is super rustic. I've got you covered. And we will start by making the crunch topping. Before making the crunch, I prepared my pans, and I know this feels like a little extra, and I am a little extra in the kitchen, but I have put butter all around the inside of my pans, then put a layer of custom cut parchment at the bottom, and then more butter on top of the parchment, and then a flour dusting, and then just knocked out all the rest of the flour. And this is so that the cakes just come out whole. I don't know about you, but especially if I'm baking for somebody else, I don't want the stress of wondering if my cakes are gonna come out of the pan cleanly or not. Now we're making the crunch. I've got my butter melting on the stove because I don't own a microwave. And also in the crunch goes vanilla wafers, walnuts, which you could probably sub with pumpkin seeds if there was an allergy reason, but I haven't tried it that way, and brown sugar. So first we pulse the vanilla wafers in the food processor. And I got the mini just because I thought maybe that would speed up the process by a few seconds. All right. Hold on, I feel like my top's not on all the way. Oops, cookie crumbs everywhere. Okay, let's try that again. I'm the total pro in the kitchen. Okay, so now I have basically a vanilla wafer flour, and I'm going to add in the walnuts and just do these to a fine chop. So not completely pulverized. I had to add a few pecans because I didn't have enough walnuts, but I'm sure it'll be good that way. Okay. All right, now I'm going to put in the brown sugar. Pulse that together. Now we're gonna add the butter. Yum. Another quick mix just to bring everything together. All right, just kind of scrape down the sides here. And that is the crunch. I kind of just want to eat this by the spoonful, but we have to save some for our cake. I'm going to reserve a couple of cups of this for the crumb coating that's gonna go in between the layers and on top of the cake. Baking has to be pretty exact, but you can just kind of eyeball 2 cups of the crunch. Okay, now we're gonna put the rest of the crunch into the bottom of those prepared cake pans. All right, so now I'm gonna do the best job I can to divide this evenly between the 4 pans. So I like to start with the little, go to the next one, do all of them, and then kind of go back and do a little bit more. So I hope you're enjoying this recipe. If you do, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel and helps me to make more of these videos for you. All right, a little bit more. It's kind of like trying to be fair to your children on Christmas. You know, you're trying to get things as even as possible. Do your best. It's not going to be perfect. Done. Now we're going to press the topping down into the cake pans. So just spreading it out into an even layer, trying not to have like a big mound of the crunch right in the middle, but compacting it enough so that it kind of sticks together as the cake is baking. And we're just gonna pour the cake batter right on top of this before it goes in the oven. This smells so good already. If you want it to be extra, extra, you could even toast your walnuts before you do this, but I think they get toasty enough just by being in here in the oven. And I'm gonna put the 2 cups that we reserved into just a pie tin. You could use another cake pan, whatever you've got on hand. And that's going to toast up alongside the cakes as they're baking. Onto the batter. My oven is preheated to 350, so now I'm going to start the batter. And I have my express softened butter here, which I'm going to beat with the sugar. Start it low and then increase your speed. And you really want that to be totally mixed together and smooth before you start adding in the other ingredients. Now I'm gonna add in all the other ingredients except for the eggs. I've got flour, baking soda, that was actually the baking powder. Baking powder, baking soda, pumpkin spice. Even if you have like pumpkin spice from last year, you'll probably want to buy a new one because spices really don't last very long and it makes a big difference. Yogurt, don't use low fat, and the pumpkin, 1 can of pumpkin. Make sure you get everything out of there. The recipe calls for a 15-ounce can, but all the cans are 14 ounces, so we're just going with it. Okay, I give this a quick little pre-mix before I turn the mixer on so that the flour doesn't go everywhere. Oh, forgot the salt. Lock the mixer, here we go. All right. And we don't want to overmix because the flour doesn't like that. So just until everything is combined, and then give your bowl a scrape down on the sides. And then on low speed, we're going to add the eggs in one at a time so that they can be incorporated individually. All right, so I've already broken my eggs and one at a time should slide right out. 1, 2, 3, oh, and 4. All right. And those don't really need much time. And then I will lift this up and just make sure that everything is mixed well and off the sides of the bowl. You don't want any chunks of anything left over in there. All right, looks good. So now we're just going to distribute this evenly into the 4 prepared cake pans. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to evenly distribute something 4 ways. So using a ladle can at least help get the process a little bit more even. And this is a really thick batter. So you're gonna end up needing to spread it around a little bit at the end after we get all of it in. But just do the best you can. Obviously, if like you have way more batter in one cake than in another, then your cakes are not going to cook evenly and be done at the same time. So, plus then like it would look weird too in a cake to have one layer extra thick. All right, so now I'm just going to spread this out gently so that I don't let the crumb topping from the bottom come, like pull away from the bottom, basically. And it's going to, the cake is gonna melt, like the batter's gonna melt as you bake it. So don't worry if it's not like all the way out to the sides, like touching the sides. It will start to move in that direction once it's got some heat under it or on it. And these are just 9-inch cake pans. Not sure if I said that at the beginning, but just your standard size. And okay, this already smells really good. That pumpkin spice, the fresh pumpkin spice makes a big difference. Okay, all right, ready to go in the oven. Now we're gonna put these all in the middle rack of the oven, if they fit. If not, then you might have to use 2 different racks, which actually it looks like I am going to have to use both racks. And we'll also put in that reserved topping. And try to scoot your pans back a little bit. We'll also, let's see, does that fit under there? We'll stick this one at the top. Let's see, hopefully we can get that closed. Great. So halfway through the baking process, which is about 25 minutes, we'll want to rotate the pans, bring the top rack pies or cakes to the middle and vice versa, and that's going to help us make sure that those cakes are evenly cooked. Now we're gonna make the cream cheese frosting, and we'll need the stand mixer again. Into the frosting goes a ton of cream cheese and some butter. Also mascarpone, which is like an Italian cream cheese. And you can sub that out. You can actually use whatever cream cheese frosting recipe you enjoy. You don't have to use this one. And then a tablespoon of vanilla. All right, so now we're gonna beat those together before we add in the powdered sugar. And it helps if you soften those ingredients up a bit before mixing them. Moving on. So now the cream cheese and the butter and mascarpone are all really well mixed together. And I'm just gonna scrape the sides and then take the paddle off for a moment so that I can sift my powdered sugar in. And again, this is like another step that's a little bit extra, but if you don't want to have any like little powdered sugar clumps in your frosting, which doesn't change the taste at all, but does make it look more presentable, then you'll want to just take like a little sifter, put your sugar in, just do a little bit at a time, and then just kind of like sift it in so that it gets nice and smooth. And you can see as you're doing this on the top that there's like little beads of powdered sugar that are left over at the end of the sifting, and those can be broken up, but they don't break up as well once they're actually in the frosting, and so those are gonna show up a little bit in your frosting if you don't do this step. Well, I better hurry because the cakes are ready. Perfect. Now we just have to let them cool for about 10 minutes before inverting them to cool even longer on wire racks. Back to the frosting. This looks so good. I just kind of want to stick my finger in there. And we were just gonna set this aside until the cakes cool completely, because If they are not cool 100%, then it's gonna be a real mess. So I'll pop this in the fridge, let the cakes cool, and we'll come back to it. All right, so now it's time to get them out of the pan, and hopefully my extra effort in lining the pans with parchment and doing the butter flour thing helped. Oh my gosh, so good. All right, so we'll leave that right over there. I think I can actually just do this super fast and, all right. I was actually expecting that parchment was gonna stick to the cakes and I'd have to peel it off, but it's coming out like butter, so. You just want to scrape around the outside with a knife. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can finagle this in this last little spot. Perfect. Just scooch this out of the way a little bit. All right. Great. So now let them finish cooling all the way before we frost. I'm just going to break up the crumb coating that we put in the oven because this is going to be a sprinkle on top of the frosting, and we don't want any chunks that are too big. All right, we're ready to frost now, and I'm gonna use my little cake spinner platform here to frost, but you don't have to. You can just do this on a plate. I also have one of these rounds. These are handy if you're planning on transporting this. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of frosting on the bottom just to prevent it from sliding when it's on here, and then put a little bit of frosting just at the bottom of this so that the bottom cake has a little something to stick to. All right, and then we're just gonna do layer by layer and put frosting in between each layer as we go. Okay, so I wanted to say that, like, you can tell that it's, that like some of the crunch crumbs are coming off into the frosting, and if you were making a wedding cake, then obviously you would want to do something called a crumb coat and be extra careful about this to prevent that from happening. But this is very rustic. It's all about the flavor, and you're putting crunch on the top, so you're not even gonna notice that your cake isn't just a pure white. So it kind of looks like my 5-year-old frosted this, but that's okay because the crunch is going to cover up all the rest of this. Have your vacuum ready. You can use as much or as little of this crunch topping as you want. Kind of looks good, I think, to have a little bit of the frosting coming through. I'm gonna transfer this onto a plate, and it's gonna be ready to cut into. I will admit this is not my best decorating job. I did speed through it a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna rename the recipe Pumpkin Crunch Surprise Cake, because even though it doesn't look 100% on the outside, surprise, it is amazing on the inside. So let's cut into it and see. Hopefully I'm right. Oh yeah, that looks really good. All right, now it's time to give it a try. I can get any on my fork. That is so good. I remember why I make this every single year. It's like every favorite Thanksgiving dessert wrapped up into one. So if you like this recipe, please give it a try. Let me know how it turns out for you. And also, I would love to know what you like to bring to different family gatherings or your favorite thing to eat over the holidays. All right, thanks so much. Like and subscribe. Bye.